Avengers Endgame. It's really good. You should go see it if you want to, and if you can. If you haven't already. For this review, I'll be as vague as possible and then make this a spoiler-free review. I'm going to make another review where I'm go full into spoilers. But then again, I saw Dan Olsen's Endgame video on how to spoil the movie. But as I say, as Dan Olsen said for reviewers to do, talk about how the first hour is about characters having introspection. I do like the first hour and the first act, how it's about the surviving characters dealing with survivor's guilt, them having introspection. How each character is dealing with it is unique and interesting. It is nice how they start the movie with Hawkeye, since he wasn't in Infinity War, despite being an Avenger. They did give a line of dialogue to explain why he wasn't there, but Hawkeye is the original member of the Avengers, and he wasn't in the last Avengers movie? So it was a nice touch to start the film with Hawkeye and to remind the audience of the devastating effect of the snap that heard around the world. Around the universe, really. And what he was doing when that snap happened, since we didn't know if he survived the last one. Seeing how that is played out got a visceral reaction out of me and the audience I was with. Since this is not just the ending to Infinity War, but also the ending to the Infinity Stone arc, but also the end of the whole arc of the first 4 phases of the MCU. Is there 4 phases? Anyway. While the first 5 films were leading up to the first Avengers movie, the first Avengers movie was the starting point for the Infinity Stone arc and was the leading off point for that storyline. What started in the first Avengers movie ends with this Avengers movie, and more or less what started with the first MCU movies with that logic. Just like that trope with video games, like in the Mega Man games, you fight all of the old bosses before you fight the final boss. Endgame does that trip down memory lane to flashback to previous events in previous movies. You see characters you almost forgot about because it's been so long since you last saw them. True for the characters too. It makes me want to rewatch those movies after seeing Endgame. I won't tell you which movies to rewatch because I think they'll be approaching spoiler territory a little bit. But if you've seen all of the previous MCU movies at least once, you should be fine. We've been on a journey with these characters all throughout those movies and adventures. So in Infinity War, we grieve with them. We end that movie with grief. We begin Endgame with dealing with that grief and aftermath for the first act. What I can do to review this movie that is not a spoiler is how well paced the movie is in this 3-hour runtime. The filmmakers put enough in the movie to fill in that runtime, but they also did not overstuff the movie so that the film has to rush to location or doesn't give scenes a chance to breathe. As typical with many Marvel movies, there's a lot of character moments. The usual trademark bathos is sprinkled in around the movie. Seeing certain characters interact with each other in interesting combinations is a selling point of the most ambitious crossover ever. And seeing some of those characters and characters' combinations in an interesting situation was a joy. As the story moves the audience to different places, we're given time to see the new situation flesh out a little bit, enough so that we don't feel like we're rushed to locations, unlike in the recent Hellboy movie. Again, allowing scenes to breathe and give character moments. Once the main plan is set in motion, in about the second hour of the movie, this movie does the same cutting back to different sets of characters in their own set locations, but I never felt lost and I never felt like I didn't know what was happening or why we're in one spot or another. The characters facing unforeseen challenges and improvising to fix things kept the movie from being stale. This is an epic movie stretching across many different places and handle it well. The action is very well done, and they give us action set pieces with a small number of characters fighting for quite a bit of time. Keep it to the characters that we know and have been following throughout to keep our emotional investment in the fight scenes. All the more to make the giant wide-shot action scenes of armies versus armies as a nice top-off and fist-pump moments. While this is an Avengers movie for sure, as well as a Marvel movie, this is a movie that's a sequel to Infinity War, as you would know, or more correctly, Infinity War and Endgame are the same movie as a two-parter, like it's a two-parter for a season finale, or Infinity War is a season finale with Endgame being a season premiere. Which I can see why there's a lot of mirroring imagery from Infinity War to Endgame. And all those closely matching moments won me over and a lot and hit me deep in the feels in some of those scenes. That and some certain callbacks to past Marvel movies not only got me to cry for a whole sequence, but also caused me to audibly whimper as I'm crying. While the contrast of peaks and valleys of those waves of emotions are not as stark in other movies I enjoy, the waves are still there. In this movie, we finally got a conclusion. We can close the book on the story arc and finally feel like we're having fulfilling catharsis to end the story on a high note. 20 movies to get here, but it is satisfying.